I'm terribly sorry if my sound quality is not very great. I'm using a normal headset that comes with my gaming headphones. So I think the first important thing is to start off by saying that I have been using the environmental screening tool since it came out in its draft format back in early 2019, before they started enforcing it in October of that same year. And I am registered with IPASA, I am registered with SACNAS. I'm not going to give more detail than that regarding my details, obviously, because it's on YouTube, so I would like to keep my privacy intact for that matter. Right, so I'm splitting the video into three main parts. Firstly, I'm going to look at the purpose, obviously, of the video, and basically get into a little detail about the screening tool itself, the purpose of it and the uses of it. Then I'm going to do a demo and end off with discussing the report that's generated. It has to be noted that the screening tool obviously works in conjunction with the protocols associated with the screening tool. The protocols have been released, updated, and various amendments made to it over the past couple of months, with modifications and rectifications, etc. And the screening tool has also been updated accordingly. Now, the purpose of this video is to do a basic method for the average person to be able to generate a screening report. So after various seminars and online courses, etc., it's kind of been made evident that the idea with the screening tool is both for advanced users to generate more advanced queries where you look at a greater site, for example at the property, and then within the property finding a small area, within the area finding a specific footprint, and then generating your report from that. However, most of us EAPs would use a GIS software, either ARC or QGIS, or whichever your preferred version is, to do these things, and only use your final product to generate your screening tool report. Similarly, when you are not involved in the planning phase, as most of us aren't, you get a KMZ or a KML from your client, or a CAD file, and you have to work from that. Now, that being said, in my past experience of the tool, it doesn't like points and lines as much as polygons. Now, for those new users that don't know what that is, a polygon is basically an area, or a square, or a shape, rather than just a line or a point. The quickest way to go about this is to generate your polygon in Google Earth prior to coming to the screening tool, exporting it as a KML or a KMZ, and then importing it here. So getting back to the purpose of the screening tool as well, is that it has also become evident that the idea behind whoever the person is that this brainchild was of, is to firstly, obviously, create a single source or single database for various shapefiles as we use them, or databases. To give an example would be the wetland data. So everybody has different versions of different wetland data, or different versions of ECA, or not ECA, yeah, well, whatever. The point is that everybody is using various versions of shapefiles that's out there, downloading from the biodiversity websites or getting them from the local municipality. And the idea of the screening tool was to conglomerate all of those into a single database where everybody has standardized data throughout, and nobody can say that they didn't have the correct data. Secondly, it is to allow clients or potential clients to come on here and also generate a report to see if the site may require an environmental investigation, EIA, or a BAR in accordance with NEMA and the associated regulations. So example of that would be a farmer that wants to do clearing to build a dam. Does he need an EIA or a basic assessment? Yes or no. He can come on here if he doesn't believe an environmental specialist or EAP giving him advice. He can come and check if they're telling the truth or not. So it's basically just to keep us on our toes, and then also to allow other users to see if they would require anything or not. Obviously, as a bit of a disclaimer here, if you are not an EAP and you do use this tool, I would still suggest sending the report through to a professional EAP that's registered. Obviously, I mean, with the new registration legislations and etc., you'll have to be registered, or a SACNAS person, a scientist, to look at it for you, at an environmental scientist, just to verify that you interpret the data correctly. So I'm not going to go jumping to the screening tool itself. I'm not going to go into detail or into a depth. This is a powerful tool to use. There's lots of various things, like I've already said, that you can do with this, but for the basic report generation as required with the environmental applications, I've been using this, like I said, for quite a while, and I've been generating the report in this way, and it's accepted and acceptable, and you don't need to go into too much detail. So this, the point of this video is to create how to create a environmental report or a screening report, but in a quick and easy and effective way. Also, I found that the screening tool allows you to generate maps separately from the maps that's created in the screening tool, as the maps in the screening tool, as most of you have already noted, is small and pixelated and doesn't have legends, etc. Obviously, and it's more shrunken to fit onto a page, whereas if you generate a map internally, in the screening tool itself, it gives a bit more of a legend, titles, etc., and you can select if you want it in A4, A3, or whichever size. I think, I can't remember, I usually use A3. And the benefit of this is that you can add it to your various reports, either as a separate appendix to your screening report, or as maps in your application, or if you want to use the maps in your EIA or basic assessment or screening scoping report, you can use the maps. The point is that these are maps that you can use. It's generated on their website. It has a logo on that it is generated on this website. I would put the link to the website in the description below. And finally, I'll end off with this at the end of the video as well, is any questions, please post them in the comments below. I will answer them. Keep it clean. Without further ado, let's get into it.
Zombie apocalypse.
So on my screen, I've already opened up the screening tool. I've pressed F11, so I'm using Chrome. It's widescreen, so that none of the other stuff like my icons, etc., sticks out, so it's only the screening tool showing. Firstly, I have to note that I have pre-set up a KML file of an area I've selected near a reserve in the Eastern Cape. It's close to Uitenhage, I think the town is called, in the Nelson Mandela Bay area. I've created the KML file in Google Earth. If you do not know how to create a KML or KMZ file or export it, I suggest you first look at YouTube videos or help and discussions on how to do that. I will also in this video show how to use the tool, the screening tool, to physically plot your own polygon area, instead of using the KML file to generate your tool. However, I would suggest generating a KML file in Google Earth. It is a lot more accurate, it's a lot better, and as we all know, you get the KML file from your client. It's just easier to do it in Google Earth. So when you first open the website, the screening tool website, I will put a link to that below in the description. You will get to the opening page. You can read the terms and conditions, you can read through this. For now, we're just going to skip over it and click next. I accept and next. This is a brief description of, or not a brief description, but a more detailed description if you click on information of how the tool works and each of the steps that I've described. Just click next. Over here, you have 3 drop downs. The first drop down is for their internal system. You do not need to do this drop down to generate a screening report. You can bypass that step, or you can do it if you prefer. In your application, there's a section where it says this is your main trigger, or what is your main trigger for the application. We always select there something like close to a water course or clearing of vegetation, etc. So this is that section. For those people that don't work with NEMA, this is pretty self-explanatory. If you are doing a vegetation clearing, you will do the drop down and you look at, you are transforming land because you're going to clear vegetation. You are clearing indigenous vegetation in this instance, for the example that I'm going to use, and it automatically generates a methodology. You will find that the methodology generated is mostly general methodology. As you will note here at the bottom, it says I have existing area. This was where I worked previously on an area. For now, I'm going to clear that. If you accidentally close the tool and you need to go back to the data that you had, you can there say keep the data and the data will appear. This side of the screen you can just minimize. You rarely ever use that. Second thing that I do before I start is I switch the base map to hybrid. Hybrid is Google image with an overlay of street names, borders, etc. Once you've selected hybrid, you can click there to close that drop down again. On the right hand side, you will note it has search, select, draw, coordinates, or upload. In the event of doing your own design, which I've said we will discuss, you click on draw and you click on polygon over here and you physically draw your area. For a KML or KMZ file, you will go to upload, browse. I have, like I said, pre-created a KMZ or KML file. I open that and I say upload. It then uploads the file and plots it on my hybrid image. On the right hand side, you'll see it shows the longitudes and latitudes of all the main points that was generated in the KML. As you can see, it is a vegetated area, and in the example we will say that this area will be cleared. So once you have uploaded your file and it has accepted it and it's plotted, you can click here on check sensitivity. It will now generate a drop down for you to select from. All these you can check on here. Instead of generating the report, you can check each of these individually. It has now generated on the side a list of sensitivities. It does not create any maps other than showing the sensitivities for you, because you selected all sensitive, or I selected all sensitivities. All sensitivities are then shown: agricultural, low, animal species, combined sensitivity, high, medium, etc. These then correlate to your protocols, so you can read through the protocol if and what will be required in the event that agricultural combined sensitivity is low. If you want to view each individually, you obviously can click on each of these individually. For the purpose of this, I am going to go for tertiary biodiversity theme. The tertiary biodiversity theme then shows you that the tertiary combined sensitivity is very high, the biodiversity. The site falls in a red area with a small green area to the southwest. To generate your report, you click on Generate Site Report. These logos are limited in size. You can generate your own logos by uploading them constantly until you find the correct pixel sizes. It does not give you an indication here, from what I have found, of what your pixel sizes can be. You can upload a photo to add to the front page. So now you click on Download Site Report. This EIA reference would be your EIA reference number that you receive when you do your EA application. I've been leaving this blank. The rest you have to fill in, unfortunately. So I'm going to go demo. The applicant is demo, and the compiler would be me, demo. If you click on OK, it starts generating the report. I should note at this step you can go and have a smoke, make yourself coffee, go home, whatever. It takes long to generate. My report has finally generated. Now, as a side note here, I would like to note that please do not refresh or close your browser. This thing takes long to generate. Minimize it and continue with your work, or as I said, go and have a smoke or a coffee break. It takes a while. My report generates and automatically saves to my downloads folder on my local drive. This is how I have set up my browser. This step is where many people lose their documents. Your browser may be set up differently than mine. In some cases there may be a pop-up at the bottom that says your browser is trying to download a file, and you need to click on Keep to save your file and select the location. Others may generate it and save it in a different location. Click on OK. Now, before you close anything, I am going to show you how to generate maps based on the site that you have just worked on. You can obviously come back and click on Keep here. When it comes up with your site area, you can click on Keep there if you have accidentally closed it or want to recreate files without going through all these steps. You also do not need to generate your report to create the maps. To create your maps, you just need to go in to the tool, upload the KML file, and then on here at the top you will see there's a what would you like to do. Click on the what would you like to do and select a map on a DEA template. What it then does is it allows you to generate a map as you are seeing it here on your screen. Obviously this was the terrestrial biodiversity, so I am going to call this TER for terrestrial and bio map. You select your size, I prefer PDF, and then you click on print. It then generates the map that you want. As with the report, it takes some time. This map has not been saved onto your computer. You need to actually click on it so that it opens up. Once opened in a new tab, you can click on download and it will download it to your preferred download folder. You can rename it over here. I am going to call it DER map. Save. Go back to the previous tab of the screening tool to change the background map to any other map that you would like to choose. Click on the drop down and say draw on map. This will take you back to this option. Click on select or site sensitivity again, This will clear your sensitivity. Select the next map you would like to generate, and similarly click on select a map. You have to change this to a 3 again. Type in the new name, indig veg, print it, and once printed and saved, you can continue doing this by clicking on your draw on map, selecting sensitivity, click on your next preferred background or sensitivity that you'd like to create a map, click on that, do all of these and reprint it, and continue doing that until you've generated all the maps you would like. Now this is where I am going to pause and switch over to the report. The report you have generated will then show the name of the regulations associated with your report, the reference number that was left blank, project name, everything that you've entered. Once printed, add your signature, or if you use a digital signature, you can add your digital signature there. Your project gives you the report then gives you an overview of your site with relevant farm portions. It will show you any other projects within 30 kilometers, specifically wind and solar developments within 30 kilometers of your site. As you scroll down, it will give you other information relating to the site, project, etc. Over here you will find a short summary of the impacts as they relate to the sensitivity with the regards to report, and then you can use this in conjunction with the protocols. The next section relates to your assessments. Following this will be the results of the report generated. As you can see here, as I've noted, the maps are very small, and that's why I have shown you how to generate more detailed maps. Now for this map, we have generated a larger map that will show you site area, application, development footprint, etc. It shows you a more detailed map. Going back to the screening tool, I have said that I will show you how to generate a report by creating your own footprint. I am going to use exactly the same parameters that I used in the previous one. As I've noted, you can keep your area. If you click on keep, it will generate your old site. Click on zoom to and it will take you to your old site. If you click on clear, it will remove it from the storage. You can minimize that, and I am going to select a random area to use as a reference for generating a map using the drawing. So I have selected an area. I have absolutely no idea where this is. You click on draw your polygon. So let's say you would like to develop this section here. You would then, as you would do in Google Earth, click the points wherever you want them, and once completed you would double click and it generates you a set of coordinates, and the process begins again. I know this is very basic, and I also have to admit that this was my first attempt at creating a how-to video. This is not my specialty. I hope that you find this informative. As I've noted in the beginning, you can ask me questions in the comment section. I will try my best to answer them. Please, I hope you found this informative. If you liked the video, please click like. If you would like to see more content like this, sorry, there isn't going to be any. If you would like me to do a more detailed video of the rest of the functions of the tool, please ask in the comment section below and I will try my very best.